God bless you. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. I've been proving God more and more each day. And one of the things I've been proving Him for or in is that He said that He is touched with the feeling of our infirmities. Sometimes you just pray for praise sake and you pray, but you really don't believe because you don't believe because after you pray, you take up the phone and you call a friend and you try to figure it out and work it out. But I'm learning to talk more with God, as I told you in my last testimony. I have a lot of time on my hand, so I use it to talk to God more and more and more. And I find that when you really pray, He is touched with your feeling. You know how as a mother, you see a child or, you see a baby crying and you see the baby in pain and it's like you want to take up that baby and cry with the baby because, you feel the pain that they're feeling and you feel so empathizing for them because they are in such pain, they can't explain what they're going through, they can't verbalize it. And so you do everything to comfort them and to hush them to make them feel better. So it is with God. Sometimes we can't utter how we're feeling, we don't understand it. And that is why the Bible says He is touched with the feeling of our infirmities. And sometimes I am praying and I can't explain and express myself, and tears are my language, but God understands. And I remember some time ago, I prayed and I said, Lord, I'm tired. Especially in the cold time. In Florida, we don't really have snow, but some days get very cold in the 50s and you don't want to leave your house. You just want to stay in bed all morning. And I've been saying, Lord, I just feel so tired of getting up 40 hours per week and working. And I got a degree and I got another degree and I went to another college here and there and all type of certificate you can think of and diplomas. And then I find that people want to pay me the same amount of money like I had nothing. I said I can't do that. And so I got weary of and tired of just working and can't see what I'm working for. And physically I got worn out and I said, Lord, when you bless me with a home, favor me that I can work 3 days per week, and then the next few days I want to minister. I want to do something in your presence. I want to rest because I'm tired. And God heard me. And I tell you something, I had a job. I got a new home and I got a nice job. And I will tell you that testimony another day. But right where I said I was going to work when I got home, I went, I gave my resume. Of course, they turned me down. And I remind God, I said, God, you said if I ask and believe, it shall come to pass. And I got a job. And scheduled to work. And all of a sudden, when I start to pray, I was praying for future. I wasn't praying for now. I was saying, Lord, remember that, I said I want to not work so hard now that I have a home. But I was thinking in the future because, you just got a home, you want to pay your mortgage, save some money. All that money's paid up to buy the home. And all of a sudden, everything started to turn upside down. And let me tell you, man, I don't have enough time to tell you the story that I was frightened. I was surprised. I said, Lord, not right now. Not right now. But God had His own thing doing. He saw way down in my heart. Sometimes you're praying and you have to be careful with the words that come out of your mouth because you can't pray out of frustration. Remember Jephthah? He was very frustrated and he fearful, and he was thinking, of all his brothers who had rejected him. And he wanted to prove the point to them because he was a prostitute's son, and they rejected him and said they won't share the inheritance with a prostitute's son, so they cast him out. And so they heard that he became a big warrior and God blessed and favored him. So they came back to him and say, we want you to come fight the battle for us. So he now forgot that he's a judge, forgot that God had favored him. He don't have to prove no point to nobody. He started bargaining with God and say, Lord, help me to win the battle, and anything that come out of my house, I'm just going to give it to you. And what do you think? The first thing that came out of his house after he won the battle was his daughter. And because he had vowed to God, he ended up killing his daughter. And I give you that long story to tell you that you shouldn't pray out of frustration. You shouldn't pray out of weariness, and you shouldn't pray out of your emotion. You have to stand still and pray in the Spirit. That's why the Bible says we should be in the Spirit, pray in the Spirit. But there are times when I pray out of frustration, and I was feeling tired when I was praying. And I got a job, and everything was running smoothly, and the job just abruptly stopped. But God had a plan, because what I had desired was coming to pass. I just wasn't ready for that, to be at home and, in the comfort of my home working and so on and so forth. And it's taking a longer time, and it's making me a little bit anxious to see how God is working at his own pace. But he knows best, and I just want to use my time to glorify him, because he has been good. And this is what I want to encourage you today, that you should not allow your emotion to lead you. All of us are guilty of it. I am guilty. Sometimes I say some things and God will put me in some position to apologize, and I have to humble myself. So because I don't want to be humiliated by man, David says, a dreadful thing to fall in the hands of God. And even though it's a dreadful thing to fall in the hands of God, he said, I would rather to fall in the hands of God than man. Because men are something else. Let me leave it like that. But let's not pray when we get emotional and frustrated and just, feeling like we can't make it. Think about what you're saying before you say it. But all in all, God has been good. He had blessed me with the desire of my heart. And I'm just happy that, he's just favored me the way he has. And I just encourage you to trust him today, and he will direct your path. It's a long journey to get where I'm at, and I'm still on the journey. I'm telling you, trials on every side. Even yesterday, I was going through the valley of the shadow of death. And I have to just breathe and calm down, because when you think you never, let me tell you something, you never feel that peace and comfort and joy until you get to heaven. Every time you win a battle and you're ready to rest, the enemy is going to come in again. You only rest enough to gather your strength as a Christian, but the enemy is always going to come at you. So be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might, continue to watch these videos and share them. Somebody may want this word. It's just a word of encouragement, but send it to someone who's going through, and they're in this Christian journey for a long time, and they say, man, it's a waste of time. I can't see what I'm praying for. Just tell them to trust God, because God don't want your backup plan. I was trying to buy a house for years, but I was trying to make sure that I have enough money and all the resource and all these things, but he didn't want my help. He said, I want you to go get a house and write and end your lease and trust me. And I ended the lease on the same day I ended the lease. The next 2 months, the 60 days that they gave me, I was in a new home. So God bless you. Be strong in the Lord, and he'll direct your path. Amen.